各位记者朋友，大家
Friends from the press, good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference. First, I'd like to make an announcement at the invitation of the El Salvador's government. President Xi Jinping's special envoy and Minister of Culture and Tourism, Sun Yili, will visit San Salvador to attend the inauguration of El Salvador's president for his new term on June the 1st. Now the floor is open to questions.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问。据了解，在昨天举行的第9次中日韩
At the 9th trilateral summit meeting, the three parties have reached a joint declaration. What's China's comment on that? Yesterday, the trilateral summit meeting was held in Seoul, ROK, after 4+ years. The summit meeting adopted a joint declaration, sending a signal of strengthening solidarity, deepening cooperation, and promoting regional economic integration, injecting stability and positive energy into the current transformative and turbulent international landscape. The joint declaration actively evaluates the significance of trilateral cooperation and proposed some ambitious goals, reflecting the strong demands and internal impetus of the trilateral cooperation. The three parties reiterated deepening economic cooperation, speeding up the negotiation on the trilateral free trade agreement, encouraging discussions about new members' accession to participation in the RCEP, and strive to create a fair competition environment in the world. Agree to advance cooperation in scientific innovation and the digital transition, and try to restore the three countries' scientific ministers' conference and telecommunication ministers' meeting, and try to increase the mutual visit to 40 million by 2030. The three parties will maintain close communication under other multilateral frameworks. Apart from the joint declaration, the meeting also reached other two outcome documents in terms of the IP right protection and pandemic prevention and preparedness. Going forward, we will work with Japan and the ROK to implement the above-mentioned outcome documents, continue to deepen our friendly exchanges and practical cooperation, and promote the peace, stability, and prosperity in Northeast Asia and beyond. Next question, please.
Yonhap News Agency on May the 27th, DPRK's launch of reconnaissance satellites failed. Analysts say that the DPRK's announcement of its plan to launch these reconnaissance satellites in the early morning of the day of the trilateral summit is seen as an attempt to throw cold water on trilateral cooperation. Some pointed out that DPRK's latest launch violates UN Security Council resolutions. What is China's position on this? My second question is, the 9th ROK China-Japan Joint Declaration did not include the previously mentioned goal of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Some media reported that the goal of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula was excluded due to China's opposition. What is China's position?
First, I want to share your first question. China noted the developments on the DPRK satellite launch, including the DPRK statement and response from other parties. China's basic position. We believe that ensuring peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula and advancing the political settlement is in the interest of all parties, and we call on all parties to make constructive efforts to this end. And on your second question, our position on the Korean Peninsula issue remains unchanged. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。东方卫视记者提问。那么我们关注到，在刚刚过去的这个周末，中欧班列累计开行数量。
We noted last week the China-Europe Railway Express registered over 90,000 trips in total shipping freight, worth over $380 billion for the past 10 plus years of its development from scratch to what it is today. How do you think of the role of the CRE? Congratulations on the new record. As a flagship project and signature brand of Belt and Road Corporation, the CRE has reached 223 cities in 25 European countries and linked more than 100 cities in 11 Asian countries. For the past 8 years, the annual trips have increased from about 1,700 to over 17,000, with the value of annual freight up from $8 billion to $56.7 billion. It has opened a golden channel for trade in Eurasia. Transport leads to prosperous industries. What the CRE carries are goods, but what it brings are opportunities and hope. The CRE not only makes it faster and more convenient for Chinese and European goods to reach each other's market, but also keeps fostering new logistic services, industries, business centers, and industrial parks. It now serves as a bridge for mutually beneficial trade. We'll work with countries along the lines to promote high-quality development of the CRE, inject more stability to the world economy, and provide more driving force for common development. Next question, please.
谢谢。日本朝日電視台
TV Asahi. Yesterday night, the Foreign Ministry of the DPRK said that some of the contents of the joint statement between China, the RK, and Japan accused interference in DPRK's internal affairs. What's your comment? The 9th Trilateral Summit meeting was held in Seoul yesterday, and the three countries issued a joint statement. On the Korean Peninsula issue, the three parties reaffirmed that maintaining peace, stability, and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula and in Northeast Asia serves the common interests of the three parties and is the common responsibility. They reiterated positions on regional peace and stability, denuclearization, and the abductions issue, respectively. They agreed to continue to make positive efforts for the political settlement of the Korean Peninsula issue. We hope relevant parties will firmly uphold peace and stability on the peninsula and promote the political settlement of the Korean Peninsula issue. Next question, please.
Thank you. Another question from Reuters on the
路透社关于中日韩三国联合声明，中国认为如何实现朝鲜半岛的无核化，这被朝鲜表示强烈谴责。Could you repeat your question, please? 朝鲜对联合声明表示了谴责。中国将采取什么措施来确保朝鲜半岛的无核化？
I just introduced our position on the Korean Peninsula issue. We think ensuring peace and stability on the peninsula and promoting a political settlement is in the interest of all parties. This requires constructive efforts of all parties, and our position has been consistent and remains unchanged. Next question, please.
From Antara, Israeli.
安塔拉，以色列空袭加沙拉法难民营，造成40多名巴勒斯坦人丧生，其中包括儿童。一些国际领导人敦促执行国际法院的命令，制止以色列的袭击。中国政府如何支持对加沙的人道主义援助和执行国际法院的命令？
China is gravely concerned over Israel's military operation in Gaza. We noted that the UN ICJ ordered the provisional measures on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict for the third time, and for the first time asked for ceasing the military operation in the region. This reflects the world's consensus on and strong call for an urgent ceasefire, protection of civilians, and the escalation of the humanitarian crisis. The order of provisional measures shall be effectively implemented as soon as possible. China's position is consistent and clear. We oppose any moves that go against international law, including the international humanitarian law. Ask all parties to protect civilians and civilian facilities and strongly urge Israel to heed the call of the international community and stop attacking Rafah. The world needs to work hard to de-escalate and end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Next question, please.
Ukraine Foreign News Agency last time.
梧桐社。中国呼吁缓和俄乌战争，但是没有指明这些呼吁针对的国家，而俄罗斯在持续对乌克兰进行血腥的入侵。对莫斯科来说，这样的呼吁似乎会产生相反的效果。因为每一次呼吁之后，它都会迈出升级的一步。本月早些时候，俄罗斯在乌克兰东部哈尔科夫地区开辟了一条新战线。上周，在中国和巴西就乌克兰问题发表联合声明后，俄罗斯对乌克兰第二大城市哈尔科夫市的民用设施发动了一系列残酷的空袭，其中包括一家购物中心，造成18人死亡。你能否说明中方发出的这些缓和紧张局势的呼吁是否也针对俄罗斯？
China believes that dialogue and negotiation is the only viable way out of the Ukraine crisis. Parties need to all be committed to de-escalating the situation and seeking political settlement of the crisis. This position has been clear and consistent. Next question, please.
谢发言人，我是凤凰卫视的记者。据报道，美国
Phoenix. It is reported that the U.S. Department of State spokesperson said concerns about China's question. Taiwan question is purely China's internal affairs, broking no external interference. The U.S. has no right to the provocation for Taiwan independence made by the leader of the Taiwan region in his May 20th speech and a serious warning to external forces that connive at and support Taiwan independence and interfere in China's internal affairs. It's a just move to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity, and is necessary, legitimate, and fully consistent with international law and common practices. The speech laid bare his true identity as a separatist for Taiwan independence. And reveals his nature as a worker for Taiwanese independence. In this regard, the U.S. is the one that acted wrongly first by sending a delegation and issuing a congratulatory statement by the Secretary of State on the so-called inauguration ceremony, which sent a seriously wrong signal to Taiwan independent separatist forces. The groundless accusations of the U.S. made just compounded its mistake. We urge the U.S. to fully recognize the fundamental nature and dangerous ambition of Taiwan independent separatist forces and the grave harm and enormous risks of Taiwan independent separatism to peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. We urge the U.S. to earnestly abide by the One China principle and 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, honor the commitment made by its leaders on the Taiwan question, and stop emboldening and supporting Taiwan independent separatist forces in any form. Taiwan independence will lead nowhere, and anyone who plays with fire by supporting Taiwan independence will get burned. Anyone who seeks to challenge the One China principle will invariably fail. Next question, please.
Thank you. Another question from Reuters.
路透社。几个国家已经向巴布亚那边提供了援助，中方将提供什么样的援助呢？中方是否会派团队到灾区提供援助？
China is closely following the situation and maintains close communication with Papua New Guinea. Will provide assistance in light of the situation and the needs of the disaster relief. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人，我是北京青年报记者。
It's reported that Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Hasina, criticized American interference in her country's internal affairs, saying that she was offered by a white man a smooth re-election if she allowed the country to build an air base in Bangladesh. And she also said that it was not the first time. And she said she never come to power by renting part of the country or handing it over to another country. What's your comment? We noted a speech that demonstrates the Bangladeshi national ethos of pursuing independence and not being intimidated by foreign pressure. Certain countries seeks its private interests, wantonly uses another country's election as a bargaining chip, blatantly interferes in the internal affairs of another country, and undermines regional security and stability. This fully shows the hegemonic, domineering, and bullying nature of its acts. China firmly supports Bangladesh in safeguarding its sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity, and safeguard regional peace, stability, development, and prosperity. Any other questions?
谢谢发言人。澳门月刊记者提问。
It's reported.
It was reported that the recent flooding in northern Armenia has affected dozens of settlements and close to 4,000 people, with 4 people dead, many more injured, and 17 bridges and many roads damaged. What is your comment on this? China noted that the flooding in northern Armenia has caused casualties and loss of property. China expresses sympathies to Armenia. We believe the Armenian people will pull through this difficult time and rebuild their homes. China is ready to, as always, do everything we can to help. Next question, please.
If there is no other question, this is the end of today's press conference. Thank you.